Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Grand Rising. No matter where you are or the time zone you in. Grand Rising. Today's affirmation is, I stand in the center as the I am. I stand in the center as the I am. I stand in the center as the I am. I stand in the center as the I am. And so it is. We take back control over our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, and by taking control of our mental well-being and our emotional well-being, which is also connected to our spirit aspect and the soul aspect of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, it will prompt and promote us to want to take better physical care of the vessel and the temple and the vehicle that we're here operating through. Where were you told you came from? And where do you believe you came from? Have we ever asked ourselves these type of questions beyond physicality, beyond associations with physical things? Have we ever asked ourselves, where have I came from? Where were you told you came from? And from that, where do you believe you came from? And in consequence to that, what do you think you're here for? I pose those questions because Starseed's trying to find a Stargate. But Starseed also has to realize that the Stargate is a seed too. I'm going to say it again. The Starseeds are trying to find their Stargate, soul tribe, whatever you call it. But the Stargate is a seed too, inside us. So as astronauts, we also got to know how to farm. And that's a metaphor. Not farming in the physical sense, but farming in the mental sense. What are we seeding and watering, tilling and reaping, hoeing within our minds for our consciousness to grow? I affirm, I stand in the center as the I am in my life. How your consciousness prevails, or how your consciousness is prevailing on the planet like it never has before, it's evident because everybody's saying they woke. But if everybody woke now, then what worried before? How your consciousness took on a trendy sensation. These are important things because if we analyze ourselves, an honest truth that we will come up with at some point in time is that if so many things are changing, and things are changing, things are shifting, we are shifting, why do we expect to happen next what already happened? Why do we expect to happen next what already happened before? We can recognize this through conversations we have, especially if we've been negatively affected and still carrying that luggage. Why do we expect to happen next what has already happened before? Why is it so hard for us to expect something better, to expect something higher, to expect something different than we're used to. If we in new energy, family, all that's over with. And if all that's over with, why we still carrying the residue? We won't always know what's coming. But if we stay ready, we'll be ready for whatever appears. And we can't look for anything external to get us prepared or have us in ready mode. Because if we leave it to media, we leave it to internet, if we leave it to radio, if we leave it to whatever we entertain ourselves with from the external, most things are of a negative nature. But that gives us something to work through. Media gonna tell us the worst of the worst. And the false teachers gonna tell us anything to fill their pockets. No matter what's going on or what ain't going on, positive, negative, good, bad, or indifference, you stand in the center of your life. I'm surprised some of us actually sleep at night after we watch what be told to us through external influences, to the point that now we got to be extra careful, extra assertive to watch what we telling ourselves. Many times when the face of God appear in our life, through people, situations, circumstances, animals, regardless of belief or belief systems, most times we don't recognize it. And the reason that we don't recognize it is because the light within us is dim. The love of God, or the reflection of God in oneself as the source, is dim. That was the purpose of the affirmation for those who want to start applying it in their life. I stand in the center as the I am. See, what I mean by that is, family, when I say many times when the face of God appear in our life, regardless of our belief systems, we don't recognize it because the love of source of God in oneself, in ourselves, in yourself is dim. But light needs a face to be seen. God needs a face to be seen. If ain't nobody here to express what God is through it being acknowledged in you, then who here to tell it? I'm glad to introduce myself as Saiwoo, for those who catch it. We're going to need to exercise more benevolence or good. We're going to need to stand in more truth. It would be nice to motivate more hope in oneself and others. And it would definitely give you more balance. I just dropped 4 keys. Benevolence, or good, or well-wishing, 1. Truth, 2. Hope, 3. Balance, 4. If we can cultivate those 3 qualities in our lives and hang in there while we're doing it, you'll definitely find yourself in a more harmonious and balanced place. In all we have learned and in all we know, this opportunity that's prevailing through higher consciousness like never before gives us an opportunity to really come into relationship with ourselves, in reflection to relationship with others, in reflection to relationship of other living beings, the animals, the plants kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the trees, and reflection with the planet. The ancestors, the indigenous, always knew these things that we're finally tapping into. Give us a round of applause. They always knew it. They knew it to the point that they was able to leave us a blueprint behind for those who start tracking the breadcrumbs and doing the footwork to the things imprinted and implanted on our DNA strands through our particular journeys and sojourns that we choose to find ourselves moving through and in life. We come to realize these things. We start to realize the importance of compassion. We start to realize that knowledge prepares us to gain wisdom as we understand. We start to realize how that apply to higher consciousness. We start to realize start to realize. Anybody catch it? Now it's time for us to live longer. Real eyes want to live longer. We have to ask ourselves questions like this, family. And we also have to ask ourselves questions like, does it make sense? Is this true? What does it feel right? How many of us are really learning what works and what doesn't? Based on our planetary experience, based on our living experience, based on our spiritual experience or spirituality for those of us that have a spiritual way of life, because everybody don't. I am aware of that. I see y'all. Consciousness is attractive. In its benevolence, consciousness is very attractive. It created everything. Consciousness also reproduces itself to create everything. But we wasn't aware before as we are today. Now the only thing, because for most of us prior to the day, the only thing that has been attractive to us is negativity. And that's okay. Because negativity has a beauty to it too, for those who have eyes or a eye to see. Regardless of the beauty, price, or location. For most of us, what we found attractive was negative, was toxic. Because we was negative and we was toxic. Freedom only comes through the truth. Give yourself a round of applause if it's resonating, because you want to be free. My point is, if you have changed, all that has changed. If you changed, I hope. I don't know what your life like. I just speak the life. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot at me. Salute to the younger generation. They ask those type of questions. When things don't make sense to them, they pose questions. I love them for that. It reminds me of myself. I ask so many questions coming up because I went through so many things that put questions in me. A lot of it didn't make sense. I love the younger generation with old souls. Salute. It don't apply to all youth. But from all people and through all people, we can all learn how to relearn what we need. We can all learn how to relearn. We can all learn how to unlearn. And we can all learn what we don't need to learn at all, as we remember through those who do. And if we're paying attention, we will. Higher consciousness is very attractive. It's extremely attractive. And it's magnetic. And all this time I thought it was me. With that, family, continue to move in stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness, feel good for no reason at all. And remember, power is patience. Saiwoo to God. Thanks.